I would have had to have done this.
You still just got so much space.
Yeah.
What would you fill in the space though?
One thing
I'd have done 2 of them.
there is this old toolbox.
Then again, you could paint this yellow and put a smiley face on it. You got a minion.
Yeah. It's an old knuckle toolbox, and it may fit in there
that's cool.
to fill up some of the space,
I like that.
and throw a set of points in there.
Hell yeah.
Condense it when I need it.
That's a good idea. Hide all that up. That's good.
That'll fill that space and it'll look good.
Yeah.
I did one on another bike I had, an old shovel. I did the same thing, and it looked pretty good. Filled that dead space.
Are we closing that up with another piece, or are you
It's
leaving
all
it
covered
open?
up by a seat.
See, like, here's what I was thinking. Like, where this is, I know even though it's going to be covered up, some type of a graphic that matches what's in the eye. You can see all this. You know, so.
Okay.
So something there.
Yep.
I want to do something on these.
Yeah, because I
I
was gonna cut this loop off, but I
Which
didn't.
loop?
The other side. But figured out what's going on with that. That's your stuff.
Oh yeah.
You don't
Right.
need it for nothing.
Right. But what about?
You just need it for chain
Boy,
adjustment.
it'd be just nice to just. It only needs that big of a damn loop, you know. Well, I guess
It just depends.
it's so big, yeah.
I was gonna cut it down, but
Were you gonna move these to the back or
no,
not?
I'm set up the outside. I got nice problems.
Yeah. Third thing, do you want me to mold all this? Make it real nice and smooth instead of the.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking if I'm the judge and I'm walking around this, every little thing that I see that's been paid attention to is a point.
I would say look at it like that. That's how a judge is going to see it.
Right.
You know, they're going to get right up on it.
Yeah,
Intricate things. Intricate things.
Because anything we can clean up, I say let's clean it up.
okay.
It's a lot of work, but I'm okay going it.
Okay.
And
I want these, I don't
like this area.
Yeah, I'm hoping you can
Yeah.
fix. It's solid. It's not going
Yeah,
anywhere, but
yeah.
it just needs to be
Right.
And there was a bunch of Bondo in there before.
Right.
You need to epoxy that.
I don't want to get too much around this any more than I have to. Maybe just a little bit to clean the welds up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's going to flex up there, and if it's all molded, it's going to crack out.
Cracking out. Yeah.
So I don't, we'll stay away from that. This is not going to flex. All of these little brackets and stuff, none of that's going to flex, so that'll all stay.
You need to epoxy this on both sides and put an LED right there and right there with a nice jewelers in there. That would just be crazy. I don't know how it would hold though on a frame.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to
Because
hold
this
on the
baby's-
side of that tank, so
I know.
I
but
wouldn't.
It would be weird doing it there, but that would be awesome. Yeah, exactly.
But like up here,
There's those badges.
Oh, hell yeah.
Put a rivet in those.
it's
Tanks over there. Are those going to, there's indentions going to be big enough for that badge?
shit on your hands. Don't touch it. I gotta paint this later.
It's gonna be tight.
I know. I don't see you getting.
Ooh.
You're gonna be that far off of it, if that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got a piece somewhere we can set this.
Here, I got a brush towel.
Yeah, something's clean.
That epoxy goes right over the top of that, right?
Here, let me get a piece of welding wire.
You know, I think where it gets you
Yeah, give me a piece of
is
mixed
because that each outside is sitting
Yeah.
on that angle. And
I might have to cut that back.
and then if you have something underneath it, it's going to stick it out even a little more. You can see it here pretty good. Look at that.
Well, here's what I'm worried about is the edges of that.
Right.
See, we're already right there's where that epoxy is going to be.
Yep. Part would be to cut that back.
Yeah,
That's what I'm gonna do.
I mean, because if you looked it up, you only got like 1/8 of an inch there.
Yeah, I just barely have to put any in there, do I? Ooh, that's gonna be. I gotta run.
It almost defeats the purpose of floating it. And we haven't even went this way yet either. So, where are we at here?
What would it be like on a deeper dish?
I mean, there should be plenty of room on it. I gotta sand all this out. I just got some primer on it too.
That's what I'm wondering.
I could like dish like this. I could have it that way out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That does make a difference. I mean, it's still a similar style tank,
Not really.
but that one's a little, I don't know. That's got a rounder shape.
I mean, that's max right there. If we're going to that edge, the only other way is a thick sheet of epoxy over the whole damn thing. You know what I mean? And that would be a nightmare.
Could you dish it a little more?
You really, there's just not much effect in floating it when it's only floating that far off the tank. I want to see front to back where we're at.
Same, basically.
Looks good with that badge though. Ooh, I bet that felt good. That gets in the bag.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to,
I'm gonna cut it back.
Could you shape those sides to make that fit just a little more flush up here?
I think if you cut it back,
I don't mean, shave it all the way off, just kind of
No,
bevel it a little
yeah,
bit.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Get it all the way around.
yeah, I would.
think you
If
can
you're
do that.
gonna cut it back, I'd
Take
cut
it-
it all the way back to there.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
I mean, you
Make it look like a medallion, not a badge.
yeah.
And I think I would pre-fill this with colored epoxy.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yep.
Yep.
After you get it cut down, pre-fill the backs. Of course, then that defeats the purpose of sticking it into the
Yeah, but it just has that first layer is tacky.
right.
So I won't be dropping into a wet resin. It'll be just tacky, so it'll sit there.
Okay.
Once it's
'Cause-
once it's tacky, I can drop that in there.
Because
and-
once you cut that back, you're going to see more of that inside, which is not all that pretty to look at.
correct.
Now, are you doing it in 2 parts epoxy or
But
one?
if
Are
you
you
were to-
putting down epoxy, put it in, let it dry, and then?
You don't have to
Come
let it
back in?
dry. Once it's tacky, you can put the second layer.
Okay.
I would take some red dye and tint that epoxy
Yep.
and fill that with red.
Yep.
That way, if you do happen to see behind it, it's red.
Yep.
And any light reflecting into the epoxy will give it a red tint reflecting back into the badge.
I got it. I can make that work. No problem. I still
Yeah.
get the same thing I want. That changes.
This
what
has that unique
But
style.
we got to hit this thing just dead on right.
You were right about that, sir.
I know.
Not adding any pressure.
Yeah.
It's got to be perfect.
My butthole just puckered.
Because if we're too much, then when I start saying that epoxy and we hit that,
Can't get to that.
Yeah.
It's on me. This is on me.
I mean, when you get ready to do this, call me and I'll come over. If we have to, we'll take a bunch of these and make a template so that while you're pouring, you can see where we're at. And we can lay the badge in there and go, okay, so we're going to have an 1/8 inch of epoxy over the top of the badge.
What I should be able to do is know about where, how high I need that epoxy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So once I get that, I can measure it,
I mean,
and that would be like,
if you could come up to right about there and just get a 1/16 or an 1/8 inch of epoxy, and if you cut that badge back, it'll show underneath it better.
right?
So you're probably coming up to about here,
Yep.
somewhere in there with the epoxy. I would say,
What I'll do is hold that badge and I'll get it marked with.
here's
like,
what we need to do. Once you get these cut down, and you're gonna have to be careful cutting these down, because if you chip the edge of that, it'll crack right into it in this spot. Just to add more complexity to the situation. So I don't know how we're gonna get that, because you can't, if you need a belt sander, but you gotta be able to hold the thing.
I'll get it.
I don't know, we'll figure that out, but what we can do is we can measure this from, however far it is off that table. Take a caliper and measure to the center of it, the highest point, and then subtract the table from it. And that'll tell us and then we can measure here from there to the bottom where the center of that badge is going to go. And that'll tell us how deep this needs to be
Right.
on the first pour. To where we can set that on top there and get,
Yeah, I want you to have stuff to work with.
yeah, because we don't know. When I start shaping this thing, I basically got to come around this with a sander and bring that epoxy down to this angle.
Yep.
And then I got to work to the middle to get it to round out.
Yeah, because I can't even use wire because this is all going to be built up around here so that I can get the height of the epoxy.
And we got actually, it'll make more work for us, but I really don't care. I want this right. I want this as cool as we can get it, and I feel like we're sacrificing something at this point. What about if you took that same wire and went around this ridge? We're adding that much depth to that channel. I mean, I got a Bondo this, but I don't care. You know what I'm saying? What that would do is bring this angle out a little more like this and deeper, and you would probably be looking at something like that now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that gives you plenty of room. Now we got room for a mistake. A little more of a pour, a little less of a pour, doesn't really matter. You don't have to cut these down.
Did you leave the wire?
I'm going to mold up to it.
He's talking about that same thing I did on the
That's
fender.
what I thought.
Yeah.
Kind of like the old school dish.
Yeah, because when you lay that wire on there,
Talking about
got a
that
piece
thin
of that?
wire, right?
no, this
That bar?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean.
now as I mold that into the tank, that angle becomes more profuse. See,
Okay.
because that Bondo will be all the way up to here, because it's got to be a radius. I'm not going to fill around it like we are on the fender and build a ridge up. I'm going to bring that body filler to it so that the whole tank looks like it's thicker. So, and the good thing about that is nobody's going to have one like this after we do that.
Okay, I guess you're leaving the tank.
Yeah, I'll leave the tank. Just grind it back down. Just don't worry about the paint because I'm gonna have to redo it all anyway. Because I'll have to re-bondo the tank. I did fill some stuff up here because it was.
Yeah, I'll just stay over here.
It's not gonna matter because I'm gonna have to skim coat the whole thing at this point. But it's better we find this out now so I can make sure we got time.
How are you gonna finish the inside?
Same way.
Same way.
Yeah, I'll just.
Just bundle on the inside and
The inside won't take near as much because it's already curving out.
Other than the tacks that you're
Yeah.
gonna have to cover.
Yeah.
Do you think that is sufficient to hold it like kind of how I have
Yeah.
it tacked?
Yeah. Once it's bondoed in, it's bondoed in, right?
Okay, change of plans. I bet
Don't
there'll be
you
a-
like that idea?
Yeah, I do.
Because that's going to widen this tank by about probably an inch on each side.
So are you talking about, make sure I'm seeing right, taking this.
Going all the way around
All the way
there.
around the full radius, bondo this side, shape it out.
Yeah.
I got you.
And that'll make that tank actually
It
look
will.
fatter.
It's not even,
wider.
and it's not even that much deeper you're getting. The
Right.
radius is coming out farther
Yeah,
too.
get a
so
better radius out of it. Then it's gonna give
then
you
we can
room to
bring it
float that
forward
badge.
more.
Yeah. And
Okay.
and just by this thickness, we're probably adding an inch of depth
Yeah.
because the way that wire is going to come around that.
You know, the beauty of that too is sitting
Here.
that badge out is you'll be able to see it suspended.
Here, just
Yeah.
hold it. Yeah. And plus, this will give a bigger shelf for that epoxy to set in.
Right.
So now look at that. That's a much better shape, I think.
Where's that badge?
That's actually going to be shaped like an old Quick Bob tank. I mean, that's a much better shape.
Because they put that badge in there, and then we can see how much room you got on top. I'll
Yeah.
put the phone right here, and we can see that. Sit that badge where you want it. Okay. And what?
I'm good. I held the same mark.
I don't think so. Okay, I'm even a little higher.
Oh, that's a lot different. You're big time different.
Yeah, you got a 3/4 of an inch
Yeah, I
there
was
to
gonna say, quite a
float that.
bit. You'll be able to see it on
And
the
you know,
phone.
come here and look where I'm looking at. So,
Yeah.
if you raise that badge up and somebody's looking at that tank from the front, you can see completely underneath that badge.
Yeah.
Can I ask you this? When you sit that on the bike, are you going to twist that badge around?
Yes, that's what we're
That's
trying to
okay.
figure out.
Yeah.
I was saying, because that might, looking at that angle, that's going to look kind of
Well, that's what I called him yesterday afternoon. I'm like, okay, we just run into an issue because I was getting ready to put the mask in this that was going behind that.
And you don't know if it's going to be here. It's going to be
Right.
here.
Yeah. And I
It's
said,
That's what I
on
was
that
thinking.
angle.
'cause
Are
at
you
that angle,
going-
It looked kind of strange.
are you going right with the world or right with the tank? So that's why we had to kind of leave the bike
Oh, yeah.
together.
Look at that from that.
But yeah,
distance.
see that?
Yep.
Big time.
Much better. Much better.
What's up?
We solved the shallow part, get to use the tank you like.
Get an idea what angle that badge is going to be at. That's a hard angle.
That is. I like the badge like that, though, to be honest.
It looks cool.
I mean, that
Here,
didn't
let
look
me
bad.
turn around and show him.
That actually, I think that angle was nice.
Weston, what do you think of that? Sitting like that?
Because if you go with like the
I
angle
mean, it
of the
doesn't
frame,
offend me that way. But what's cool about it is, if I'm a judge and I really know my shit, I'm going, oh, those guys leveled that badge
Yeah.
before they poured the epoxy. They knew where, they had to figure out where that badge was going.
I gotta get that marked out.
Yeah.
because that's how everybody's going to see it when you're going down the road when it's parked.
Yep.
That's even cool. So that's kind of cool too.
But yeah. And see, you'll have the room to float that now. And anybody looking from above or
From
below,
above, yep.
you can see right, you can see all the way, you can see sky underneath. And you don't have to cut these down.
Yeah.
And that's going to be Diablo red. Is that what the color you're thinking of?
And I tell you what I do with these instead of putting rivets in there. Go to the hardware store and get some tiny brass screws. And put brass screws.
Just putting that on the outside.
Yeah, and then pour the epoxy
Yeah.
in the back, and I do like a red or black.
Probably
so that
Oh, red.
I don't know. I'd use red because if you get any reflection of light on the back side of that red will reflect back into the red that's on the tank.
Yeah.
I wonder how that epoxy will set up when the sun hits it at angles.
And you know what else
if
would
you'd
be
be
cool?
able to see behind
Is
it
if
real
you can
well.
find somebody that'll cut you a mirror. That exact size, a piece of mirror.
Oh, I can find somebody.
Yeah.
That easy.
Yeah.
That
And
reflect
put a
off the
mirror
back.
in there. That way anything that gets reflected in there is going to reflect off that mirror back into the epoxy.
I don't know what that would look like. When the sun hit it.
Well, if it,
Well, I was thinking you're talking about the mirror. You're talking about put the mirror on the back of the tank.
Yeah.
That way.
Back of this.
no, back
No,
of that.
I was thinking of, like if you put the mirror space from behind it, when the sun comes in, it's going to hit and it's going to reflect everything.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to do is when the light comes in, the epoxy from the back side of it, it'll hit that mirror and reflect into the tank
Into the
shell,
tank and reflect.
and inadvertently light it up.
Okay.
And that way, just in case, if we decide to drill a tiny little hole and put one little LED in the bottom of that epoxy on the bottom of the tank, you could light that shit
That's
up.
what I thought with the mirror. If you put the mirror on the tank side, then it would do that even better. But that LED would be awesome.
Could have cracked it.
You didn't need that.
All right. Back to the drawing board. It's gonna be worth it.
Yeah, I'm much more comfortable with that now after thinking about adding that piece of wire in there because I was really fretting how shallow that was going to be, and I thought, man, we're going to miss this, and we're going to be chipping this epoxy out and doing it 3 times. But no, I think, and I like the idea of it because it's going to widen that tank, you know. Which I love the looks of this tank on that frame. I hate the width. With that little bit of extra width, even though it's clear width, it still adds shape to that tank. It makes me feel a lot better about this angle when I mold all that in. And I think it'll make it easier on you doing the epoxy because it'll be deep enough to actually, you're not pouring a 1/4 inch of epoxy and trying to let it set. And,
I need to get that on there, get it back to you. You gotta prep it again.
Yeah.
Gotta bring it back to market.
yeah.
We can't mark it now. For that.
But at that point, I'll have the frame up there. All I need is measure from these 2 bolt holes to the table and measure from the axle, center of the axle to the table.
Okay.
And let's measure from this neck to the table. And that way, when I get it back to the shop, I can set it on a set of blocks and I can set this measurement, I can set this measurement, and I can check this measurement. Once I set these 2 measurements, this measurement should be right.
Well, I'm gonna measure it out because I put those under there to get this table perfectly
Level, yeah.
So we'll measure it off.
Yeah.
I'll throw some blue.
We'll
tape
write
on
down
it.
the measurements and
Yeah, I'll do it later on in the day when we get done. I'll run up and grab some more tubing.
because I was going to take this now if you're done with it.
Yeah, I'm done all I can do.
Because I want to get started on it. Okay?
Let's do it.
Let's get all the measurements before we move it.
You got something to write it
Go to
down.
the bottom one.
Oh, we're recording.
See what?
Center hole.
Yeah, he can get on tape and we'll have the measurements.
Now the bottom
right
of
there.
that hole is. Well, you're gonna see it anyways.
You go into the bottom of the hole?
You got the picture. You can put it
Okay.
wherever you want.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
This would be the easiest reference.
Looks like 12 and a quarter.
12 and a quarter, yeah.
12 and a quarter to the hole.
Between an eighth and a quarter.
Yeah,
And then you
that's-
go from that bend right there, that tube.
Which side? Okay.
I'm gonna put my finger right on it. So whatever's above my finger is the mark.
Just 39 and a quarter.
Keep it there.
Yeah, a little over a quarter.
Now, that should allow me to set this up and make any other measurements. That way, when you get done welding that tank up, you can bring the tank up and I can set this up and we can get the right markings.
Perfect.
Now, if you want me to get this another day, I can. If you got more work to do to it, but if not,
I mean, I figured you're gonna.
I'm gonna start molding it and I'm gonna get the old paint off of it and
One thing
start
I
molding
didn't
it.
do is where the old holes were.
Yeah,
You can do that.
yeah.
Where's the new holes for the
And
tank?
we'll, once we get it,
Yeah, I figured you give it back to me and I'll like already got the holes in the tab
Right.
I put on there.
Right.
I'll mark it and tap it once it comes back. I
Right.
just did that on the other panhead I got.
I'm gonna run some tests on doing that nickel plating. If you wanna try to nickel plate that bitch bar. Okay? And we might be able to nickel plate this if it's sealed. I don't know if it's sealed.
I don't know. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
Maybe we'll just paint it. But I say
But you can take the ram out if you want.
right.
If you want to paint it and try to put it in there. Or not. I mean, it's your call on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable being really, really careful.
I'm gonna
with
study
getting
it.
in there.
Yeah.
But it's.
I think we can paint it outside of the frame.
I mean, if you need to clearance it maybe a little bit. Just don't
Yeah.
want. I don't want it rattling.
What I would
don't
do
want
is-
it rattling around in there. I don't
Just
want
put
so
a
much.
rubber grommet in it. Something
thought.
like that.
That's the thought.
I mean, then you can bore it out a little more if you
Yeah.
need to. Slide the paint, put the rubber on.
You can see how I got it kind of beveled if you feel it with your finger, but it's got it. It has to go in. Well, see, you can't do it that way because of this, because of the cord. So it has to go in. Has to go in this way.
So you use one of the little bag grommets for the bags. That would work.
It works perfect.
That's really cool.
It's pretty neat. So I'm running this little battery in this horseshoe.
Boy, that little baby don't take up no room, does it?
It'll give me plenty of room for my relay and all that stuff in there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because I don't need it because I'm running the mag.
Right.
So
I see it. I just noticed that.
I'll work.
That's one you don't see.
That'd be bad.
You don't see that.
Like this.
Oh, that looks really good. Cool. Jeez. You see two and you see one.
Do we know exactly where this seat goes?
That's far how. Well, what do you want to talk about? Well, because I can put it wherever we want it to go because I got a
Well, what I was thinking is,
cut.
this is almost 70s Art Deco kind of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I was thinking if you went like this thin stuff, like one just a little bit longer than those, and another one starting where the seat doesn't come back and just a little bit longer than those, and give it that grill kind of Art Deco look.
That'd be too much, huh?
No, I think it'd be,
Problem is, I added to it after I showed you, and it got too busy, and I didn't like
Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering, would that be too busy?
so the seat goes all the way back
Oh,
to
I
there.
see.
it. Well, no, it's not going to.
Oh, okay.
This is being cut, isn't
I'm
it?
cutting it.
Okay.
I'm cutting my $500 seat. Yeah, so I can put it wherever I want it to be.
It definitely looked better shorter.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
so
no
it'll
doubt it
be
was somewhere in here.
about right in here.
Yeah.
Just enough to catch the back, your lower back. I'm not really making it to have a passenger.
Right. Screw that. This bike don't need a passenger.
With it, I'll fill those edges when you see it. I don't know. I just like to see a little something extra, but if you're happy with it, I'm happy with it. Even if you just did one, from where the seat's gonna hit to maybe just a half inch longer. Or we just leave it like that. I mean, either way.
No, I'm hearing you. Here, hold that there. Got it?
Because this is all built up like a nice little Art Deco piece, and I'm thinking, I could go either way on it.
I
you
know. Let's leave it.
Okay. And I'm okay with that too.
That's not a, that's
After
not,
I
that's
see
not a
it,
bad, that's not a bad idea, but once you get this on here,
Yeah.
and it starts.
Sometimes cleaner's better.
was there a reason you went in on these and just didn't come all the way down with these?
The answer was I was here and here,
Oh, I got you.
and I left them, and then I thought.
I mean, I think this
then I
still
thought-
works.
But then I thought about it for a while, and I thought, okay, I'm not against it. I
Yeah.
wasn't getting lazy. I was just thinking about it for a while before I took them off, and I'm kind of like the difference.
Yeah. Because once it's all molded in,
Yeah.
did you see the way I molded in that fender? Yeah.
Back at work. So.
And you're happy with this angle, right?
Yep. Love it.
Okay.
You get something for
A
that.
little, you know, it's.
It's a little California, but
Yep. Well,
okay.
that's the look right now.
Yeah.
Just try to put those back the way they came out, so I don't have to think
Yeah.
over it again.
Now, are you gonna take this with you?
Yeah, because we got to paint it too.
I just noticed the skull on the end of that.
Oh,
I didn't
on
even
that
catch
last
that
night.
till just now.
That's an old whistle.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's cool. I like it. Can't really see it
Hold
all
that
the
tire.
time.
I'm gonna lift this up. Without tearing my wrist up.
okay, got it.
Okay. Where you gonna do that? Yeah. I'm getting ready to. I'm gonna put new rubber on this too while I'm waiting.
Where do you need, babe? I'm gonna need a booster seat to ride this thing. That front end's up there.
I feel much better about that tank now.
Well, you never know. I didn't have the badges when I had the tank at
Yeah.
the same time.
When I seen those badges sitting there, I was going, "Oh man, those are."
I like those badges though.
When you get this thing finished, I think if you get this thing finished and you don't like the as high that front is sitting, I think you can swap these two rockers, and that'll drop you about an inch and a half.
I mean, okay. I like them like that.
Yeah, I know. I get it, but
I thought that'd be uncomfortable until I sat on it, and I was like, no, it's pretty sweet. I've never ridden one out on the road that high up though, but when I sat on that, I was like, it feels just as comfortable as
It rides.
My
You'd
bike.
be super surprised how that thing.
well, you're basically de-raking the frame. You're getting the same look out of the front end, but you're de-raking it, so that's adding more stability to it and less weight on the front end. So
and it's got suspension.
put a pair of sugar bear rockers on that thing, and
Big old ugly.
I'm not talking about, yeah, I know, I don't like the big hook, but I tell you what, it's ingenious as far as the way the rake works.
Well, that's very true.
Because that was the best way to get the right rake and trail out of those.
I don't think he's making it anymore.
Yeah, I hadn't heard nothing about Sugar Bear in a long time.
I'm pretty sure he's done.
Well, he's got to be up there. Yeah, I was
he's
gonna
in his 80s because when I run into him and doing all the builder stuff, he was in 70s, you know, and that's been 10 years ago. So
Of course, Dave Perowitz has got to be up there too, doesn't he?
I don't think Dave's really that old.
He's 60s, I'd say, wouldn't he?
Speaking of Perowitz, I was just talking to him on Facebook.
I'm gonna pull the frame out of it if you stand up here and put that slam down.
Do we want to just lift the frame off of it while he holds it?
There you go.
Did you get your fork stops all figured out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just keep it like that. That's perfect. Look how low.
Out.
Might be good to take those out.
You know that's crooked.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then I'm gonna say, yeah, go ahead and knock them out. Guess you're gonna have to do that bottom one anyway, aren't you?
What?
I said you'll have to knock that bottom one out anyway, aren't you? I'll tell you what, I like these because we built that one frame up and there wasn't enough turning radius, and I just come in and round that piece back and plenty of turning radius at that point. That's the easiest I've ever seen that happen. That old frame's been done a few times.
Top one ain't gonna be like that.
Yeah.
Remember putting it in there.
I mean, if you want to leave it in, you can leave it in.
Let's see how difficult she'll be. Hold that. Oh, maybe.
It's moving, that's a good sign.
Actually, wasn't so bad.
You know, here's the ironic thing. What do we do as builders all the time? Turn around with that what's in your hand. What do we do with builders all the time? Beat the shit out of these,
Then they don't
and
work
then they don't
anymore.
work. Why don't they just make a tool, a damn tool with the same end on it?
That's what I would do, is just take an extra one and cut it off. And
Well, the butt on it.
Yeah.
But how simple would it be for the tool manufacturers to do something like that? Now, I'm going to release this video,
I was just gonna say that.
and all these tool manufacturers will come out with the
Socket
deal
beater.
and make $1 billion off of it, and here I am sitting here with nothing.
Check out our new revolutionary socket beater. This is awesome.
I'm gonna get a,
Just came up
I'm
with
gonna
it.
get a picture of that for
You got to get it.
You know, it's weird when you look at them like this. That's why I need a skull like that.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out where to get one.
Did you get a chance to look at that bitch bar we built the other day?
Yeah. That looks good. Whose bike was that for?
That's mine.
I got an email or a message on Instagram from the guy. Yeah, they want me to post.